Hi guys, it's Charlie with you here at Rove Motorhomes at Gunthorpe, and I'm going to be going around the Swift Voyager 594 today and doing its unique handover video so we can show you how to get on with the vehicle and where everything is. So first things first, accessing the bonnet, we need to get the driver ignition key, insert that into this slot, turning left once to release the bonnet, and secondly then to uncatch the bonnet so we can lift it open just like so. In the top right corner you've got your coolant, under there you've got your positive connected to the vehicle battery. As it is a Ford, you've got the dipstick underneath down here on this particular model with the oil top up just over to the left. Then you've got your windscreen washer fluid, and you've also got your brake fluid. Because it's electronic power steering, not hydraulic power steering, there is no fluids for the steering side of things. Putting that back down, remove the key and just make sure that is then locked into position using your hand. Coming around to the side of the vehicle, to access the diesel fill-up, we need to unlock the cab first and foremost to open the passenger door, as this is obviously closing onto the fuel cap, which is its way of you locking it shut so no one can get in for your fuel. And here we have the AdBlue and the diesel top-up. Now the diesel top-up, just stick the hose in and away you go. It's got the smart fill nozzle on there. And just below, you've got your AdBlue, which twist this off, pour your AdBlue in there, and that's going to top that up for you. Now it's typically around an 18-litre AdBlue tank, which is going to give you 4,000 to 5,000 miles of range. Once you get down to 500 miles to zero, you are going to get an indication come up on the dashboard. However, you can go into the heads-up display and check your AdBlue range as and when you like. Filling it up, we're going to need approximately 14 litres when filling the AdBlue system up as well. Obviously, you've got your chassis plate from when the vehicle was at Ford just there. And then we've got this one, which was just here for the stage 2 from when it went to Swift. So both your chassis plates are there ready to go. To lower the front seat, we push this down. To raise it, we lift it up. To raise the lap, we lift this one here, and lower the lap, we turn the other way. And then we've got obviously this one, which adjusts how vertical the backrest of the chair actually is. But nice and easy on that side of things. Coming down the vehicle further then, obviously you've got the wind out canopy. Now the awning canopy is a full length canopy. It's got well, dimensions wise, it's effectively going to double the size of your motorhome because it comes out by about 2.35 meters, which obviously the motorhome itself is about 2.35 meters. So winding it all the way out is going to double the width of the space that you've got to work with. Now, underneath the canopy just here, we've got the toilet cassette. So when it comes to emptying the toilet cassette, we need to drop the locker down, just being very careful, because obviously when the locker comes down, I don't want to rest it on that plastic, so I'm just going to wedge it against my thigh for now. Lift this up into position, and once it's in a position where we can get the cassette out, grab the handle on the top, and then obviously take it to a designated area. So, once we've got it to a designated area, we need to twist this cap round here, spin the cap off the end like so, and then quite literally tip the entire cassette forward so anything inside comes out of this nozzle here. This cap is also a measuring beaker, as you can see, with different levels on it. So we use this to put the greens and blues in and then shove it back in down that pipe there into the cassette. Now the greens and blues are going to break down any solid matter in there and also give it a nice fresh smell. So I'm just going to drop the cassette door now. Obviously slightly difficult with the phone in one hand, but again much easier when you've got both hands free. When we're pushing the cassette back, just watch the handle, and if it's not in the slot, don't use the toilet. It needs to be in that slot just there, tucked away nicely. Further down to that, we've got the water fill up, and as you can imagine, it is just hose pipe straight in. Now, once the hose pipe in, we can turn the water on and go on the control panel internally and find out exactly how much water's in the tank using its tank readers. Now, when you're done with the water, you've got to get your cap, push it on, lock it into place, then use a key to lock that cap. Just next to it, underneath this white cap, are two small holes, and that is because that is a 12-volt plug-in point for a submersible pump. And all that means is when you see the caravans and they've got the big drum of water on the floor on the side, and they've got the pump in the water barrel, and they plug it in just here, so then effectively water can be pumped on board. It's exactly the same process with this, and all it means is if you're into your rallies and there's not much water where you're heading, you can take big water tanks in the back of your motorhome, bring them out, and obviously refill your own fresh water tanks on the motorhome with the pre-filled tanks, meaning allowed you can obviously stay on those rallies for longer without the need of packing the motorhome up and moving it to a local fuel station or wherever it is to top up more water. Obviously on a normal campsite, you won't bother with that. You'll just fill it up, use it, and then when you're done, you'll go to the fill station and fill it up again. At the back of the Voyager 594, we do have a rear garage. It's lit by two LED lights, and we've also got power in the back of here. We've got a 230-volt socket, a 12-volt socket, and two USBs. Perfect for charging things up. You've also got all your winter, obviously thermal screens, two fridge vent covers and the carpets for the vehicle, along with the hookup lead and a toolkit in the back corner where you're going to find your towing eye and obviously inflation kit. Now the fridge vents just clip onto those two vents on the side in winter when you're not using the vehicle to stop creeper crawlers and insects getting in. This here is the awning strengthener. You'll see it's got a hook on one end, exactly the same on the other, and in the center of this wind out canopy there's two little clips it clips onto, and that's just to strengthen the center of the canopy. And then obviously the awning wind out tool is there in the middle that you'll just hook onto the end of there, spinning anti-clockwise to release the canopy. Round to the back, you can obviously see we've got no parking sensors down at the bottom, but we do have the reversing camera as a parking aid up at the top. Now just up there, just on the basis of the reversing camera, we don't want to be getting too close to that with jet washers and things. And to be honest with you, the entire motorhome itself we shouldn't be getting too close to with a jet wash. If we are going to use a high pressure jet wash system, we need to be standing far back from the vehicle and soaking it rather than directly blasting it. On the other garage door, when we're coming around to the driver's side, exactly same again. Obviously everything you can see is exactly the same. Obviously we just want to show you in through this passage just here so you can see more closely with the jack and obviously the towing iron toolkit and things like that. But the hookup lead is there ready for you to use and get this vehicle plugged in and on the go. If I crouch down just now, you can see we've got the blue tap which is connected onto the fresh water tank, all insulated pipes, obviously because it's winterized. Now this blue tap here, this is what we're going to turn 180 degrees when we want to drain the fresh water tank. So this is your fresh water drain off point, and that is going to empty that entire fresh water tank so that when you're packing the vehicle up, when you're not using it, at least you're not leaving any water on whatsoever, so we don't get a stagnant water smell. And it also means we're not going to get any evaporated water in the tanks, leaving white calcium deposits like a small white powder, which could then in turn work its way down your pipes and out your taps. So it's always good to drain off all your water every time you're done using the motorhome, not just in winter. Above that is your heating vent. Now you've got a Truma system in this vehicle, which is in a gas and electric system, so we can work it on gas or electric or both together. Now this Truma cover just here is for when we're working on gas. So it is an exhaust pipe. It's got two cylinders. The smaller circle in the middle pumps out the exhaust fumes. The big circle around the outside sucks in the oxygen and the air from the outside. So it sucks the oxygen in, burns it in the boiler when it's on gas, and the exhaust fumes come out the centre, which is why you get this condensation down the side. If it was a much colder day now, you'd see all the steam coming out from there. But working further down, the next bit is the gas locker. So with the gas locker, it's a normal gas locker, so we just need two 6 kilo Cali gas bottles to operate the vehicle. I've got my small little test bottle on just now to show you obviously how the vehicle works. But when we come to the gas bottle, twist it left to turn it on. This is a crash sense protector just here we can squeeze in, and so is this yellow button here that you can push in. So it's got two crash sense protectors. Now obviously if you've come to a campsite and on your way down there's been some bumpy roads, the odds are it's set the crash sense protectors off. So whenever you go in and turn your gas bottle on, just squeezing the black button and pushing the yellow to make sure that gas is now purging around the motorhome and it's not been cut off for safety reasons. Rule of thumb with gas, well not rule of thumb, just the rules anyway, if you're driving anywhere, the gas has to be turned off and the bottle has to be strapped in. If we just duck down a second, if it might be the other side, where are we? Somewhere here. It's just there, the other side of the exhaust pipe, where I can't see it. You've got another tap. This is your grey tap for your grey water, and it's spun round as you can see with the cap on the end. So what we can do, spin that down to the normal position, take the cap off, it's already in the unlock position. That's the water I've been running through the system as I've just been running up the vehicle prior to doing the video, and that is coming all off of your wastewater tank. So you fill your fresh water up with 100 litres of fresh, you run it through your taps, you have your shower, it goes through the plug hole and into the grey water tank you can see just at the back there. Now then, obviously, just like the fresh water, we need to be able to empty that tank, and this tap is just how you do it. And you've got a little reminder there, waste tank drain. We've then got the hookup lead. Now the hookup lead isn't only just there to provide charge to the battery in the leisure batteries in the vehicle. The hookup lead is there to also provide power to your high-powered systems. You've got a 2 kilowatt heater and a 2 kilowatt boiler in there. So hooking the vehicle up, you are going to obviously get a bit of an easier experience. More's going to become available to you. But it's also important because obviously on days like today, for instance, if I was on a campsite, I wouldn't want to be burning through all my own gas. I want to use the hookup and run my heating and hot water on electric because it's cheaper. And this is the one of the ways of doing it. So yeah, it's brilliant. It's not just there to charge the batteries, it's there to power your high-powered systems in the vehicle, e.g. electric hobs, heater, boiler, kitchen sockets, and obviously various other bits and bobs as well. But yeah, always good to have that on. Now into the driver's position of the cab, we've got the tyre pressures just here for the front and rear. We've got the handbrake, which drops on its own because it moves out the way for the seat swiveling. So to release the handbrake, pull the slack off without the button in. When you feel the tension, push the button in and let down and release. To reactivate, click up and simply allow it to drop out the way. With same adjustments on the seat as you've seen on the other side. Over here, we've got the lights for the beam, for your dipped headlights. And to adjust how dipped they are, push this in and spin that from 0 to 4. These buttons here will change the brightness of your display, front and rear fog lights, and then also we've got mirror adjustments just there. For cruise control, you can just click, just click this one here effectively, push up and down to set the speed on your speedometer, exactly the same for the limiter. Cancel restore, if you've got cruise control on, click cancel, it will engine brake and coast in gear. Restore will restore it back to the cruise control setting you've got. Muting the radios there, minus on the radio volumes there, increasing the volumes just here and muting the radio there. This will allow you to access the settings on the heads-up display where you can find out about lane keep assist and things like that, and also your AdBlue range. This goes back out the menu and this scrolls through the menu. This will do your voice command, this will answer the phone and put it down or go back or forward a song on the multimedia system. We've also got power points up at the top, ready to be used and charge away. Externally, guys, on the Swift Voyager, that is all that is needed to know. So now I'm going to pause the video and we're going to hop on inside to continue the handover video. Hi you guys, so we're back in the Voyager just now. I've had to adjust the zoom to 0.5. With it being a little bit tighter and smaller in here, it just means I don't have to focus so much on where I'm pointing the camera and I can talk more about what's in front of me and how to work it. So just above the door, you've got your heating and hot water, your main control panel and your thermostat. So your main control panel, when we come into the vehicle, we need to turn the system on with this button just here. This button here, it shows us all the levels. So here you've got your habitation battery levels. Here you have your vehicle battery levels. Here you have your freshwater levels. And here you have your wastewater levels, which you can see now is empty, that we took the cap cover off outside. This here turns the awning light on and off, which you should be able to see just in the reflection out there. And it does indicate that on here. This here and here tells me, one, that we're plugged into the mains and we've got the hookup cable in and it's got power on it. Secondly, it tells us that we're working off the leisure battery and we're charging the leisure battery. So if I click the leisure battery, it's just going to show us everything on the leisure battery, the power on there. If I go to vehicle, you'll see we're now onto the vehicle battery. Not quite full, so onto the orange until it's green and fully charged. But now I know that we're charging the vehicle battery. So if you want to charge the vehicle battery up, come inside, plug the vehicle in with the hookup and click on the vehicle battery until this light comes on at the front. To return back to leisure battery, we click that button just there. This button is going to activate your frost sense protectors. So essentially, your water tanks have both got basically an electric heating system in them that won't warm the water, but it will stop the cold from freezing it in minus temperatures. So if you're trying to use this vehicle when it's getting down to 3 degrees in the night time, in the middle of the night or lower, we need to have on your frost protect. This one here turns on the water pump, and when you turn it on, it tells you how much fresh water you've got available. And this one here is a main lights isolator, which turns all the lights on and off. So nice and easy on the control panel. We then have the heating and hot water, and I've told you it's gas and electric. So at the moment, if I return to one-time zoom, because I'm just focusing on this, you can see a gas bottle and 2 lightning bolts. That's because I'm currently running on gas and 2 kilowatts of electric. If I just click the button, it wakes it up. The first one is a motorhome with a thermometer in it, which is the air temperature. Click on this and scroll to pick your exact temperature desired. The next one is water with a thermometer in it. So that's your water temperature. Eco is 40 degrees hot water, hot is 60 degrees hot water, and boost is 60 degrees hot water, but boost naturally is going to get it hotter quicker. And to do that, it borrows power from the heating. This here is then the fuel supply. So we want 30 degrees warm air and hot water, which is 60 degrees hot water. Now we need to tell it how it's going to make that for us. Does it want us to use gas on its own if we're wild camping? Does it want us to use gas and electric with 1 kilowatt? Gas electric 2 kilowatt, which is your highest powered setting, gas in the high electric system, Or we can have electric on its own with no gas when we're on campsites, or electric 2. Obviously, if you are on a campsite, electric 2 is your highest powered electric system, which requires no gas. Once we've chosen the power supply, we need to then choose the fan speed, eco or high. So how fast do you want it to come out of the fans? How quickly do you want it to warm up? Once we scroll again, it's going to jump down to the bottom here, look. So now we're on to the timers. This is a normal timer, so if I click go now, these settings will run for 8 hours, then turn off. This timer here is a daily event timer, so if I click now, every day at 33 minutes past 2 in the morning, these settings I've selected will come on. In the settings, we can offset the temperature, we can change it from centigrade to Fahrenheit, we can adjust the brightness of the screen, the hour clock, the language we read in. The index tells you what panel you've got on what series, and then you've got your reset at the end. You might need to use the reset upon some point, so if you ran out of gas and swapped your gas bottles over and came back to the panel and it was still in fault mode because you ran out of gas on it, go to the reset, click it, it'll say PR set, click it again, give it a minute and it'll reset itself, and then you'll be able to start again from scratch with your new gas bottle on. Your carbon monoxide and your smoker on the side, it is a motorhome, so these batteries are going to get colder than the ones in your house, so check these every 6 months. Up at the top, you've got your TV aerial point and your 12 volt and two 30 volt sockets. As these sockets will become available when the vehicle's got the hookup lead in, these ones will work off the battery. This is connected to your TV aerial, so if you plug an aerial cable into the back of your telly, you will then be feeding directly off the TV aerial booster, which is just here, which is obviously connected to the TV aerial. For the best picture, unwind the clamp at the top, which I think is lefty loosey, like that. Oh, it might be the other way. It's upside down, yeah, it's that way. Unclamp it, and then we can raise, twist that to get the best picture. When we're traveling, it always has to be in the down position to avoid hitting branches. This black box in the corner is your solar control unit. You don't need to touch that. That is all set up doing its own job. It's got cables coming in from the solar panel, which power the unit, which then sends charger power to the leisure battery, keeping them nicely topped up. Under this cupboard, you've got your fridge, where we hold this button here to turn it on and off. I say button, it is a touchscreen module, so just rest your finger on there to turn it on. To change the temperature, we tap the thermometer, and obviously 5 is the coldest, 1 is the warmest. And to change the power supply, we've got your warning light, battery, gas, hookup, and auto. So auto is exactly what it says on the tin. It will always pick hookup first. If I unplug the vehicle, it will go to gas. If I turn the gas bottle off on the brass fitting on the top and start the engine, it will go to vehicle battery. When I park the vehicle up and turn the gas back on, it'll go to gas. And when I put the hookup lead back in, it'll go to hookup, all on its own. To change manually, we just click this mode button here. Now this is what I wanted to show you. This is showing a fault. Now the reason for that is I've just put it on battery and the engine isn't started. So there's no power coming from that engine to the fridge. So when you don't have a fault, it should go just like that. And it'll light on the gas on its own. And you'll notice the blue light's gone just from here. Now to go back to hookup, click again, and as you can see, auto always picks hookup first. Just so you know, the hookup and the gas will both reduce the temperature of the fridge. The battery mode is only there to maintain whatever temperature was in the fridge prior to you turning it onto battery mode. So spend an hour at home getting the fridge nice and cold before you set off. Then when you set off an hour later, flick it onto battery, and whatever temperature it was when you set off, it'll be the exact same temperature when you get to said campsite. Now obviously the fridge, nice and clean, got your freezer box up at the top. Where's that open from? This way. Nice and cold in there already, and I've only had it running for the best part of 25 minutes, which is always handy. You have got the ambidextrous fridge, so we can open it from either side, making it nice and accessible. A storage drawer at the bottom. In here you've got loads of storage, your sink drainer and your gas taps. So these gas taps are all labelled up just here to tell you exactly which one does which on the colour, and a diagram of what's opened and closed. Make sure they stay in the vertical position to allow gas to get to all of your appliances. Now whilst we're here, we've got the oven, which we spin this dial to the left, and we use this igniter here to light the oven. To light the grill, we turn that off and we go to the right, pushing in and using the igniter again to light the grill. And it's as easy as that with the oven and grill. With your hobs, you lift this glass screen up because that is a heat shield, so when you've got a pan on, the flames aren't pushing towards the back. Spin this one just for your electric hob, setting 1 to 6, and then to light your other hobs, push and twist just like that. Push and twist, and it'll get them going. Now this is the fastest way to warm up Oh, come on, there we go, your motorhome. So when you first get into it, if you're using it in cold times of the year, just get in, get your hobs on while the heating's warming up, and that'll warm it up plentiful. In the kitchen, you've got 2 more sockets that will come on when the vehicle's hooked up. This just does the lights. To lower the table, we click that button just there. To raise it, click the top end. To make the bed up in the front, put this out, come on, like so. Fold the table over, and then push, obviously using the system that you've got down here. There's a little lever there, just reachable to move the table into position. Move the table into the correct position, lower it down with a button so that it sits on these stoppers. Then what you'll do is you can pull this insert out here so it makes up this bit of the bed, making it wider. Now the reason I've got the cushion off here is because underneath here you also have your fuse board. Now up at the top, everything's on a sticker and labelled so you know exactly which circuit breaker does what. Under here you've got all your mains fuses, which are very similar to what's in your house. You've got a 40 amp RCD, which will trip if you plug in a faulty appliance. And you've got 3 MCBs in case a cable is caught and cut off, or you overload a circuit. On this side, you've got all your 12-volt inline fuses that are directly fed from the leisure battery. When you're not using the vehicle in winter, it's always good to click System Shutdown, which is going to stop any drains on the leisure battery, which can be found under this seat here. These two are just like switches, so if I take that off, it stops charging the batteries, that starts charging the batteries, so it's just a switch to turn things off and on. And you've got your boiler on there, as it says heating and hot water, and your charger. That goes away just like so. This cushion will then sit on here, and then this cushion comes into play and just props up like that. We can then put the cushion back on. Above in the lounge cupboards, you've got the infill that obviously helps for this bit just here, and the same again just there, tucked away nicely. On this side, we've got more storage, really tall cupboards these, plenty, you'll fit absolutely tons in there. We've got more sockets that'll be available when the vehicle's plugged in. These lights here are individually switched at the base. These lights under here are individually switched there, look. Same on this side. And you've actually got some USB points here, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, which are both going to work off the battery. So you've got an absolute abundance of power sockets in the front end of this vehicle. In the top side, more storage again, and more storage again. Open this cupboard, we have the mug holders. We've also got a socket up there. Now the reason there's a socket up there is because some people take these 2 cupboard fronts off, have a trim made for the top, and put a microwave or an air fryer here, plugging it into that socket. As you can see, you can take the socket cable through and into the back of that cupboard. Into the actual rear of the motorhome then, we've got the centre washroom. Some nice pressure coming through there. We've also got the cassette toilet to flush. Press the blue button at the back. To then get the flush water into the toilet cassette, push this grey lever open, which opens a trap door, which then shuts when you return it back. The light will come on when the toilet is ready, the cassette is ready to be emptied. All the storage in there. We've got the hab fan over the top, turn on like so, push up for more fan speed, push down to reverse it the other way. As you can see, it can pull air in or blow air out, and twist this dial just here to open the roof above. You might be able to see it through the mesh as the skylight opens. So before we turn the fan on full whack, we need to have that open, so at least it's pulling air from somewhere and pushing it somewhere. When we're driving, clip round the screen to make sure it doesn't move anywhere. We've also got a skylight here for ventilation. As you can see, it's got the blinds across it as well, obviously keeping any residue from coming in off the overlooking trees. And now we're into the rear bedroom. Again, I've got it set up purposefully just so I can show you this yellow tap down here. Now that yellow tap, if you lift it vertically, that's going to drain your boiler, which we need you to do. So I've showed you outside there, there's the blue tap on the outside, at the front there's the grey tap. This is the last tap I need you to open up when you want to drain all the water off the motorhome. So opening that tap's going to drain the boiler. So by the time you've done your blue, grey and that yellow tap there, you've drained your fresh water, you've drained your wastewater, and this vehicle is ready to be stored. You've got a power socket on that side of the bed, hanging rail in each side. You've got another skylight here, so you pull down on the bar and pull back towards yourself, or it might be a push system. I could do it being more central to the motorhome to get that rather than leaning from here. But pull down and pull this way, and the top will just lift up. And basically, in here, it's got little teeth that just sit on those little edges there, which lock it into position, meaning the wind can't blow it anywhere. You've got a secondary TV point up here and sockets, so you could mount a TV bracket in this corner, and if you plug an aerial cable into there, it'll be fed directly off the TV aerial in the front. And that is pretty much it with regards to the Swift Voyager 594. A really nice in-depth guide on how to use it, where everything is, and obviously where to find everything. We really hope you enjoy the motorhome, guys, and thank you for shopping with Rove. If there's anything you need whatsoever, give us a call, and obviously if you're in the neighbourhood, pop in and see us and let us know how you're getting on. Thank you very much.